Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for coming out here to see me speak today. My name is Anna Herber. I am a message alignment guide. And yes, that is something I made up. And today I'm going to tell you about how I did that, how I transitioned from being a freelance copywriter into this entrepreneur bracket. And I'm going to tell you about how I used the power of reflection to get there, and how I use reflection in my business every single day to help my clients figure out who the hell they are, what matters to them, and how they can create something new and unique that's really going to serve people out there and make something happen with their lives that benefits other people. Because that's what I do. I work with people who have some kind of business, who need to show up online to do that. And with that comes all of the fear of judgment, the resistance. Who here promotes their business online in some way? Yeah. Who here, Larry, put your hand up if you find it hard. Right? Yeah, it's a constant struggle sometimes to get out there to the online world and just present you in all your glory. And it's a creative exercise. You know, you're here putting together text, video, images, ideas. But if you don't feel confident and rooted in what those ideas are, and if you don't know who you are and what your story is, then how can you go out there to the online world when you don't know who's going to come and say something at you? So you're already feeling that sense of resistance, you're already feeling that fear of judgment. And so I talk to business owners. For the last several years, I've been talking to business owners about their fear and insecurity when it comes to getting out there and promoting themselves online. And so let me tell you a bit about my journey and how I came to be advising people on this. So I was a freelance copywriter for 7 years, but where my journey actually started was a complete mental health breakdown in my mid-20s. And this put me on my knees for several years. And when I came out of it, or started like edging my way out of this complete breakdown in my sense of reality, my sense of confidence, my sense of what it is to be this identity, to be Anna Herber, I was starting from zero. Zero in terms of like confidence, in terms of ability to navigate the world. But the gift in that, the absolute gift in that, was realizing that my negative perceptions of myself had been completely limiting what I was able to achieve with my life. And even though I was out of the chaos and out of like not being able to function in the world, I could still see how these negative perceptions of myself were limiting what I was able to create with my life. And then I realized that that is true for all of us. You know, we're all subject to the conditioning, the insecurity, these perceptions that we've been holding on to since we were kids, since we received ideas from the world about what it is to be a creative and what it is to be a human being. And so I started to get really curious about all of this. I've set up my freelance copywriting career because I just wanted to trade my time and my skill writing for money. I just wanted to be free and to not have to get a job. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people in here relate to that. And so freelance copywriting was the thing. I'm like, brilliant, this is going to get me out in the world, it's going to get me making money, it's going to get me developing my skill. That's all I wanted at first. And then I started working with purpose-driven organizations. And I started to realize, oh, there's people out there in the world making things happen, and they're tuning into something inside to make it happen. You know, it's not just about this world where we're focused on revenue and profits above all else. You get to decide who you work with and what it means to you. And so then when I started to see this world of possibility out there, like, oh, you know, it matters. You get to decide what you do with your time. Then I started axing clients who didn't fit with that. And that was hard, because we all know what it's like when you need to pay bills. But then there's something else inside you, right? You know, we don't have to just choose the contracts that are going to give us the money right now. We get to choose in accordance with our values. And when you start to do that, you take your power back, I think, as a freelancer. So this whole journey to find meaningful work was happening at the same time that I was on a big self-development and spirituality journey, and I was doing all of the things, meditation, plant medicine, yoga. I've tried it all, and I stuck with it because I wanted to figure out, who am I beyond my fear? The main thing that I really wanted was to make art. I wanted to express myself as a writer, and that's still the thing that drives me the most. So who here has a creative, artistic passion on the side of their business? Right. And don't you want that business just to fund your creativity and your lifestyle? So that's my goal, that's my dream as well. My dream is to share my art, to get paid to be me. And the business that I have now, the message alignment work, that is what it's there for. It's to give me a chance to have a meaningful service to give to the world while I continue to learn how to express myself. And so you can probably hear in the things that I'm saying to you how central reflection is to this journey that I'm on. And it's actually everything, because to create something new, like art, or a service that means something to you, you have to present to the world something from deep within. And I think the mistake that a lot of my clients are making is they're looking to the world out there to tell them something. So they're looking on social media and they're trying to see how everyone else is doing it. And they're trying to copy them. And imitation will get you so far, right? It's great to learn about format and it's great to learn about technique. But if you're not pairing it with something that you actually believe, then it will fall flat and it won't resonate and it won't hit. And it's the same with making art. You can copy someone else's song, you can copy someone else's painting, but if you're not pairing it with something that you actually feel, then it's never going to feel like yours. And so this journey that I've been on has been about finding the courage to actually sit with what I actually feel and what I actually believe, and then find the courage then, once I've actually looked at myself and given myself permission to feel and think these things, is then to present it to the world. And this is what I help my clients with now. Because let me tell you, they have some amazing ideas that they're not presenting. And I think this is the gift of the artistic journey and also the entrepreneurial journey, is that it forces you to sit down with, what do you actually think? What do you actually feel? What do you actually believe in? And then it forces you to find the courage and the method to go and get that out there. And so let's talk about reflection and how this helps that process. So I think the biggest breakthrough for me on this journey was the practice of journaling. Does anyone journal? Journal, a big journal crew in here? Yeah, it's kind of essential for a creative lifestyle, isn't it? And I remember my breakthrough came one day when I wrote at the top of the page. I was desperate, and I used to just have empty notebooks and I'd never do anything with them. I'd just buy them because they look nice, and I liked the idea of being that kind of person. And I wrote at the top of the page one day, why do I feel so anxious? And then I just wrote. And that was the start of a huge new chapter for me in my mental health recovery journey, but also in my self-expression. And that practice stayed with me. I did the Artist's Way, and if you don't know what the Artist's Way is, it's a 12-week handbook for reclaiming your relationship with creativity. I've only actually made it past week 5, to be honest, so some of you who've done the Artist's Way will probably resonate with that. So how did I get from zero self-esteem, massive imposter syndrome, to this place where I'm at now, where I feel very comfortable going to an open mic and sharing my original art. I feel very comfortable standing here in front of you all right now without much of a plan, just telling you what I actually think and believe and what I've experienced. Reflection. Daring to look at myself and see myself with my flaws, but also with my potential. And I actually think it's the potential that most of us are scared to see in ourselves. In shadow work, where the process of looking at the parts of your psyche that you're afraid to claim and to accept in yourself. They actually say that the golden shadow, which is your potential, they say that that is the biggest aspect of your shadow by far. Because if you claim that you have massive amounts of potential, then what's stopping you from unleashing it? And it is terrifying, I think, to realise how much creative potential each one of us has. No, we're all capable of incredible art. We're all capable of incredible ideas. And I think that most of us get stuck at the point of taking our own ideas seriously. You know, it's like you have an idea and you're like, oh no, someone else has done it already. Or you have an idea and you don't write it down because you think it's not that good. So you sabotage yourself before the ideas have a chance to really become something. And so for me, the process of reflection has been about capturing my ideas and writing them down, taking them seriously, spending time with them, letting them grow into something. So that's what reflection has done for me. It's enabled me to take the contents of my brain seriously and say to myself, my ideas are as good as anyone else's potentially, if I give them a chance. If I nurture them, if I capture them, if I let them become part of a process and turn them into something. And when you start taking yourself seriously like that, while also having fun, you start to unlock your inspiration. So at the start of last year, I decided I was done with being a copywriter. I was done with it. I was done with invoicing people who just wanted something out of me and just wanted to treat me like a service. And I decided I wanted to create my own thing. I wanted to blend this self-development passion with something that people really needed, which was the courage and the strategy to show up on social media and say something original, create that personal brand so they can attract more clients and opportunities. And also so they can make an impact and share messages that really matter. And so people come to me when they know that they've got something inside them that is unique and original, and they're absolutely terrified of saying it and of stepping forward and allowing themselves to become that person. And so before they go on social media and announce it or start getting it out there, we spend time with their ideas. They speak to me and I ask them questions to get them speaking in a state of passion. Because we're all capable of that, right? You know, like imagine yourself when you're in flow at a party talking about your favourite subject. Like how easy it is, how effortless it is, how much you glow afterwards when you've been speaking like that about something that you really love. Imagine if you could do that to an audience whenever you wanted. Just speak from that place within. Because it feels good, doesn't it? It feels good to listen to people when they're in that state. And we've all got that inside us. It's just about capturing it, finding what your thing is, and then finding ways to share it. So something that happens a lot with my clients is they come to the first session with me and I ask them about their story. I'm like, so how did you get from where you were before, which is usually on the floor because most of us have been through a crisis at some point in our lives that made us who we are now. So we start there and then we track the journey, the hero's journey, from where they are to where they are now. And it's in telling that story and in knowing that their story is interesting and that it matters, it unlocks something in them and they start spilling the waterfall of inspired ideas. And then I capture those ideas, I reflect them back, and I say, look at this thing that you said. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it relevant to your audience? And when they can see those connections, they start to take their ideas more seriously, and then they start to believe that they can become that person who is sharing something meaningful and magnetic regularly. And then we break it down and get a content strategy together based on these ideas, and that's how it works. There's another aspect of this that I want to talk to you about. Because if you're out there selling your business, trying to get people to come to you, another incredible way to use reflection, other than on who you are and your ideas, is to reflect on your value. And now this is a funny thing to talk about in our culture, because many of us are used to self-deprecating, putting ourselves down, being ultra humble. And I think there's a cost to that. I think there's a real cost to that when you're trying to persuade people to come and work with you. You know, if you walk into a situation saying to a potential client that you're desperate for them to come and work with you and that you'd feel lucky if they chose you, that client isn't going to be super confident that you're going to be able to deliver what they're looking for. If you come with full excitement, knowing that what you do is super valuable and that you love doing it and that you're super confident in your ability to deliver, the connection happens easily. And so one of the ways that I managed to get from the place where I was, which was zero self-confidence, massive imposter syndrome, feeling like I was lucky to get any sort of freelancing contract, scrabbling around for work, into a place where I'm confident in the experience that I create for people. You know, that was a lot of unpicking of really harmful beliefs to go from there to here. And to be honest, it still rears its head, because that's the journey that we're on, you know, in this self-employed creative life. The resistance and the fear, it never really goes away. It comes in waves. But something that I've come to realize is that when I'm feeling the most resistance and the most fear and the most insecurity sometimes, I'm on the edge of something. I'm on the edge of a brand new idea that's going to take me into my next level. And it's actually my ego that's trying to stop me, and it's trying to keep me safe. So it's attacking me with all my insecurities. So this process of reflection is the number one way I've found to weather that storm when it comes. To weather that storm of feeling like you don't know what you're doing anymore, feeling hopeless, feeling like there's no opportunities out there for you, like you're chatting rubbish, like you've been chatting rubbish this whole time. It's very real. Does anyone know what I'm talking about with this feeling? Yeah, and then who has managed to sit through that feeling and create something new on the other side? Yeah, right? How good does it feel? How good does it feel? And it is the creative process, isn't it? So I think reflection, like thinking about the last one I was in, just like a couple of weeks ago, and I'm pivoting my identity massively right now, so my resistance has been like, right, coming for you. And I'm taking a big step into offering creativity workshops, sharing more of my poetry online, launching a Substack, and my subconscious is not liking it at all. But I spent a lot of time writing in my journal the things that I have achieved, remembering the positive experiences that I've had, writing those down. And more importantly than any of that, actually, is writing down, what does this mean to me? And what am I excited to do for others? And I use these as like kind of North Stars to give me scaffolding when that resistance comes for me. Because it can be so powerful, this fear, this torment, that people give up. You know, people give up and they go and get a job that they hate. People give up and they put down the sketchbook. They don't write a poem again for the rest of their lives. It hurts that much. And you can use reflection to say to yourself, I know who I am beyond this. I know who I am beyond this pain, beyond this fear. I know my potential, and I'm going to make space for it. And it can be as easy to make space for it as pulling out a pen and a notebook, taking some deep breaths, going to nature, going for a run, whatever it is that helps you self-soothe and get back into that place of positivity and possibility. You know, we get to guide ourselves out of this place of being on the floor into creation, into taking action, into creating something new with this power of reflection. And something else I'd also like to say is that it's really important for us to see ourselves. That's actually been my hardest thing to do in life, is to learn how to see myself. To learn how to see myself without all of my conditioning coming for me, attacking me, telling me that it's good for other people but not for you. And one of the most amazing things that I've done on this journey has been to allow other people to make me feel seen and to allow other people to reflect to me. So I think when you're in that space, ask for help, ask for people around you to reflect, who am I to you? When have you seen me shine? When have you seen me create something and weather the storm? What do you see in me? It's so powerful. It's so powerful. I was in a coaching container a few months ago and we were asked to put that in our Instagram stories. Just open source it. Like, give me reflections. What have you seen in me over the years? You know, we all exist here together. We all want to feel seen. We all want to feel seen and like our voice matters and like we're making a contribution. And I think that that's limited by how willing you are to let other people see you. Because we put barriers up, don't we? Someone gives us a compliment and then we say, oh, no, not really. Well, they were only £3 from Primark. You know, we deflate people's ability to reflect to us. You know, I've seen people, I love making people feel seen and giving them compliments, and people withdraw sometimes because they're not used to it. It's really important. When someone's reflecting to you your brilliance, it's really important to receive it and say thank you, thanks for seeing me. To let yourself feel it, breathe with it, get used to it. And I feel like this is a really good moment to go into the visualization and meditation part of my talk today, because I use this with my clients every single session now. Because as I've been talking about, you know, this process of stepping forward, being seen, sharing a message, sharing ideas, it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. It brings up all of this tension. And so relaxation is an amazing weapon to have in your arsenal. Because if you can bring your body down from that place of tension, of activation, and just get it rooted, then you are more resilient against this process of resistance that comes up on your journey to create and share something new. So I use relaxation for myself. It's been my number one thing. And I use this a lot in my client sessions right now to really anchor in the sense of possibility and potential. So let's do it. You guys in? Okay, great. So getting yourself comfortable in whichever way you would like to be. Feeling your feet on the ground if possible. It's really nice to have both feet on the ground for this. They say it's grounding. And if you feel comfortable, please do close your eyes. And if you prefer to keep them open, that's also totally fine. Just taking a moment to feel that you are here in this space, that you've chosen to come here this morning and be in this space, sit in this chair. Allowing any sounds in the space to be here as they are. And let's take some deep breaths together to anchor this body into the moment. So breathing in. And take a really slow exhale out, as slow as you can. And again. Another really slow exhale out when you're ready. And in your own time, breathing in again for the final time. and breathing out. So now I'd love you to imagine that you're in a forest. You can picture it very clearly in your mind, a forest that you've maybe been in before, or one that feels new. Imagine the kind of trees that are around, and any animal sounds you can hear. See if you can use your senses to make this image more real. Can you feel the woodland trail under your feet? Are you wearing shoes? Are you barefoot? Can you smell pine? Is there moisture in the air? Is it light? Is it cloudy? Are there trees overhead? Imagine yourself walking along this trail, following the path of this woodland, seeing trees around you. And walking up ahead, you come to a glade. And in this glade are 3 people who have made you feel seen and connected in life. People where you know that there is a real 2-way connection. They see you, you see them. People who've helped you on your journey, family members, friends, colleagues, even someone you met briefly once where there was that moment where you both shared a genuine smile and you knew that you both enjoyed speaking to each other. You shared something real and meaningful. So imagine these 3 people in your mind. And now one by one, imagine each of these people stepping forward to reflect what it is that they see in you. And if you're finding this challenging, that is totally okay. Just notice that. That is perfectly okay. Just see if you can relax your body. Take a deep breath. And let the exhale sink you down a little bit more. And try again. Positive qualities that they see in you. And in your body, let yourself take this in as much as you can, these inner reflections, this inner knowing that these qualities are seen and recognized. Try and take it into yourself as much as you can. Allow it to be, allow these reflections to be. And if you are finding this challenging, try and find one reflection, just one, and see if you can allow that. Now, looking at these 3 people in the face, these 3 people who've meant something to you, who've shared a real moment with you in life, and are now appearing in your imagination to reflect things that they see in you. Thank them for what they've shared. And if you feel comfortable, promise them that you will try your best to see that quality in yourself from now on. And to let it be a part of your identity. Let it anchor you in your sense of self as you create, as you participate in life. And in the middle of this glade, there is a beautiful, still body of water. And you crawl over to the edge of this water after receiving these reflections and see your own image reflected in the stillness of this water. Just notice how it feels to consider your own image in this moment. How does it feel to see yourself after taking these reflections in? Now standing up from the edge of the water, saying thank you to the people in this glade for sharing, for reflecting, for seeing you in your brilliance, in your light. It's time to leave the glade. It's time to walk down that forest trail. Feeling your legs walking on this path. Allowing your legs to move a little bit in physical space. Taking a deep breath. And in your own time, opening your eyes and rejoining us here. Space. Would anyone like to share a quality? And I would be so delighted to hear. Because when you speak it to a room full of people, that's really claiming it. Great.
I think there were two, kind and brave. And I don't think that
I love that. You are kind and brave. I think we all are as well, right? Who feels kind and brave sometimes? Life requires us to be kind, doesn't it? To exist in society, we have to be kind to others. We're all so kind. We're always doing stuff for people. We're weathering the challenges of life. But I love that you felt that for yourself. I really love that. Did anyone else want to share? Yeah?
From my brother, which was, you're smarter than you realise.
Oh, yes.
I put myself down, I'm a bit of an idiot.
But you know, deep down, that you are smarter than you realise, right? It's funny, isn't it? You didn't even have to talk to your brother to have that realisation, to know that he knows that you're smarter than you realise. And deep down, you know it as well. So, love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anyone else? Do one more, come on. Who's got one? Yeah, yeah?
My sister thinks I'm brilliant.
Love your sister. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Does anyone else want to share before we wrap up this sharing moment? All right. Well, thank you so much for participating in this exercise. And, you know, if you experienced anything, or if you didn't, if you found it challenging, that's all okay. It's not for everybody. But I will say that, you know, we all hold on to ideas about ourselves. But beneath that, we know who we actually are, and we know what we're actually capable of. And these kind of exercises, meditation, journaling, visualization, lists, daring to ask people, what do you see in me? You know, when I forget. Like, this has been a massive anchor, and it's allowed me to change how I see myself at a fundamental level. It's allowed me to get off the floor in life and start creating, and to dare to envision myself in my power. And that's what I do for my clients. Because I want as many people as possible to realize they can create anything they want to create when they figure out what's in their way, and that they find a process to engage in that feels supportive, that helps you navigate how painful and difficult it feels to expand, to create, to take up space, to be seen. So that is what I want to share with you today on the theme of reflection. I'm going to hang around if you want to chat afterwards. And I'm also launching an incredible program right now called Message Alignment, which is a 4-week coaching program guiding you through these kind of processes so you can figure out what is your next level identity that you want to present to the world, and how can you do that in a way that serves your business and makes sales and feels good. So thank you so much for your time today. I am Anna Herbert, and I'll hang around if you want to follow me on Instagram. I'm there. I'm also big on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for your time and for your shares.
Would it be okay if anyone has any questions?
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes.
How do you balance confidence with arrogance?
Oh, great question. Oh, I love this question. Yeah, so I saw a meme years ago that was like, confidence is going to feel like arrogance at first because you're not used to it, because you're used to being like, oh, I suck at everything. So how do you balance it? I think confidence is justified, right? You know, like confidence is, I have done this and I can do this and I am this, whereas arrogance is trying to prove something at the cost of other people. So, you know, arrogance is like you want to be better than other people, whereas confidence is you just want to be rooted in who you are and in yourself. So, and I think that's a great benchmark, right? You know, we're not trying to do this to make other people feel less than. We're just trying to take up our own space and to be who we actually are. So I'd say just focus on you know, on your excellence, on your joy, and just bring other people up. You know, help other people along the way. Arrogance tries to cut other people down, I think, and we don't want that, do we? Great. Thank you for that great question. Any other questions?
I do actually have another one.
Oh, great. Come on. What's your name?
Emma.
Emma. Thanks, Emma.
It's all right. How do you turn off external sources of a reflection on you? So, for example, if you put yourself out there and do something, but you're so consumed by the chatter around it, how would you switch that off personally?
Great question, and so relevant in this time of social media, right? You know, so you go on Instagram, you're going through the news feed, you're just seeing a million ways that other people are doing it and a million ways that other people think. So that would be my first tip, is turn your phone off. My second tip is actually to go and spend time in nature, alone. Doing that changed my life completely. Take a thermos of tea and a notebook, go and sit outside alone. You know, it has this incredible capacity to recalibrate the human brain to a peaceful state of solitude, and just to be alone with your ideas, being regulated and calmed and soothed by nature. So that would be my pro tip, actually. And there's a reason that writers and creatives go and do that, because it's in that solitude, in the great outdoors, connected to the all that is, you know, the ecosystems and the life force that's around us. For me, that has been like fundamental in unhooking from external validation and the world. And my second tip would be, it's like, learn to take praise as it comes, and also criticism, you know, because sometimes criticism says a lot more, it often says a lot more about the person saying it than it does you, unless it's constructive. And praise as well, like I used to have a real praise addiction, and it's something that I still wrestle with, like as a gifted kid. And yeah, so it's like the praise that comes from you carries the most weight. So, you know, it's like looking at yourself in the mirror and saying nice things, or looking back at things that you've done and making sure you celebrate. So celebration is my final tip that I want to share on this subject. We don't celebrate enough as individuals. How often do you finish a project and you just move straight on to the next thing before really celebrating the fact that you achieved something? Because we're in this culture that's like just conditioning us to always be doing and always doing the next thing, and it's never enough and we always need more. But when you celebrate something, you release dopamine in your brain and you signal to yourself, you give yourself the reward chemical. And then you start doing it more because you've had that dopamine. So I would say make celebration a part of who you are. Celebrate doing anything. Jump up and down, let yourself feel it, dance, whatever it is. I think that it's such an underlooked thing, and it can really help you start to see and honour yourself. And you don't need the world outside as much, because you've got this source of joy that comes from within. Any other questions?
Well,
Great.
thank you, Anna.
Thank you so much, everybody. It's been a real joy.